I'm John Kormanik, CEO and head coach at John or Kormanik Coaching. I am the lawyer who coaches lawyers. Today, we're going to talk about key performance indicators, KPIs, or metrics beyond the billable hour for your law practice. There is so much beyond the billable hour that you ought to be aware of, that you ought to be tracking. We're going to dive into those things today. Thanks for being here. All right. Law firm key performance indicators beyond the billable hour. Here's what we're going to cover today. We are here, as always, for 25 minutes. Only 9 slides today. We're going to really get into some detail. The slides are a bit heavy on content, not overwhelming, but a bit heavy on content. So make sure you get a pen and your legal pad out, or if you want a copy of the slides, ping me. I'm happy to send them to you. You can ping me on LinkedIn. You can email me. My contact information will be at the end. We're going to talk about key performance indicators, leading versus lagging indicators. When I talk with my clients who are all outstanding attorneys, they have some doubt or some lack of insight into leading versus lagging indicators. It's really important. And so we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into the leading and lagging indicators. We're going to talk about 5 leading key performance indicators for the billable hour. Look, the billable hour is almighty. It's this holy grail in the practice of law. And as you'll come to find out, it is the laggiest of lagging indicators. And we'll talk about what lagging indicators are. And so it's really important to focus on leading indicators. What activities inextricably lead to the result of a billable hour? You may not think about this, but it's critical to your practice and your success. Now we're going to dive into 6 key performance indicators other than the billable hour, things that you ought to think about tracking. These are not all key performance indicators for sure, but they are things that you might consider tracking in your law practice, in your law firm. They will also drive success. Okay. You are in the right place if you're an outstanding lawyer. You have the law dialed in. You recognize that you are, as a law practice owner, you are an entrepreneur. You know this. You're in the right place. Even if you don't know that, you're in the right place because you're going to come to understand it. You practice in a law firm anywhere from a solo to 100 attorneys. These things are part of your ownership of your law practice. If you're in a law firm with 50 lawyers and support staff, a number of support staff, whether it's additional 50 or 100, whatever that is, you own your individual practice. And when I say own, I mean you are responsible for it, whether you are an associate, an income partner, an equity partner, a managing partner, whatever. You own your stuff. You must own your stuff. And so you're in the right place. You're in the right place if you struggle knowing what drives the success of your law firm. I had a conversation just yesterday with a lawyer, outstanding lawyer in a small law firm. He did not have a good handle on what drove his success last year and how it changed to this year, because this year he's in a bit of a struggle. And so we talked about some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So if you struggle with knowing what drives success in your business, or if you think you know, but you're not sure, or if you do know, this is still the place for you because you're going to get additional knowledge. You will walk away with something, as you do every single time you come here. Every single time you come here, you will walk away with something to put into action. You're in the right place if you want to become a world-class law practice CEO. You're an outstanding lawyer. You want to be world class in the business of law. You're in the right place. Just a little bit about me. You can look at my website, johnrkormanik.com, to find out more. You can look at my LinkedIn bio. You can email me and ask. But I am a lawyer who coaches lawyers. I practiced law for 24 years. I owned and led a successful law firm for 16. I did not leave because I was burnt out or stressed out. I'm not a legal refugee. I left because I wanted to have a greater impact in the world. And teaming up with lawyers all over the globe has allowed me to achieve that goal. I am a professional certified coach by the International Coaching Federation. I also have some other um, certifications that are here on the screen. They're also on my website or in my LinkedIn profile. This is a photo of me presenting to a group of 350 law firm leaders um, about leadership. And of course, metrics are a part of leadership. So, key performance indicators, leading and lagging indicators. This is really important. It's really important. If you walk away with nothing else from our 25 minutes together today, it is to understand this concept. First, key performance indicators are those metrics which have an impact on the success of your business. Pretty simple, right? Key performance indicator. It is something that is subjected to measurement. You can measure it because what's measured can be improved. What's measured can be tracked. At the end of the day, the scoreboard doesn't lie. It says what it says. Key performance indicators are metrics that have an impact on the success of your business. Leading indicators. A leading indicator are key performance indicators or metrics which, when met, make achievement of the ultimate goal not only possible, but inevitable. It will be inevitable. If you do the things, the leading indicators, you track the leading indicators and you perform in that space, the end goal is going to occur. It can't help but occur. These leading indicators also provide early warning signs and insights into potential future success. And importantly, it allows you to make adjustments. When I talk with clients or potential clients, or frankly, when I talk with anyone who will listen, I talk about torpedoes, right? And we have this warped understanding of how torpedoes work because of the movies that we've seen. In movies, torpedoes generally go in just a straight line. They go in a straight line from launch to target. That's not how they work. Torpedoes gain insight and feedback, objective feedback, and make course adjustments all along the way to their target. They do not go in a straight line. They make course adjustments along the way. And they're able to make those course adjustments because they receive objective feedback. Leading indicators will provide objective feedback to you to enable you to adjust course along the way. And this is going to make more sense as we get into some particulars, some particular leading indicators. It will make more sense, and I'll talk about it then. Lagging indicators. This is where most people focus. Most lawyers focused on lagging indicators. They're metrics that reflect past performance and outcomes. They provide insights into the results of actions that have already been implemented and are a gauge used to assess the effectiveness of strategies. The billable hour is the laggiest of lagging indicators. Well, I guess that's not true. Your bank account balance is the laggiest of lagging indicators. Money collected is a lagging indicator. Billable hour is a lagging indicator. These are all lagging indicators, and we like to focus on them because they are the result, right? And focusing on them and not focusing on leading indicators is going to lead you to a place where you're unsure of what happened, whether your billables are down or up, quite honestly, and you're not able to adjust the levers of your law firm in order to do new things, break into new markets, grow if that's in your plan, whatever it is. If you focus solely on lagging indicators, you're too late. You're just too late in the process. So, are you ready to dive in? Are you ready to learn 5 leading indicators for the billable hour, your almighty billable hour? Let's take a look. Here are leading indicators for the billable hour. As I just discussed, the billable hour is a lagging indicator. It is at the end of the process. Here are 5 leading indicators for the billable hour. 5 things to look at or to consider looking at that result in billable hours being created. Number 1, client acquisition rate. How many new clients do you have this month? Right? That makes sense. What's your target for new client acquisition? I want to create 4 new clients in this month. I want to create 12 new clients in this quarter. What is it? I want to create 1 corporate client in the quarter. What is your target client acquisition rate? And by tracking that, by setting the target, number 1, and then by tracking it, number 2, you're going to have a good indicator of your billable hours. You can break this down even further by type of client. If you have clients who have in-depth work and are going to create many billable hours, you can put those in one silo and create a target for them. Do you have kind of one-off clients? If you're a transactional attorney and you have a one-off client that has simple work, you get to decide how to break down the client acquisition rate to make it work for you. But client acquisition rate is a leading indicator to the billable hour. Caseload volume. How many cases do you have? How many cases is your law firm currently engaged in? That's going to give you a good idea of the billable hours that you're going to generate. What is the caseload volume that we're carrying right now? What is it compared to our target caseload volume? Where are we? Caseload volume, leading indicator to the billable hour. Time invested on client development. You can't acquire clients. Your caseload volume can't be affected positively or negatively unless you track time invested in client development. What client development activities are you doing and how much time are you investing? That will have a direct correlation. I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. That will have a direct correlation to your billable hours. I'll give you an example from my life, from my current business, which I am the CEO of. Last year, around this time, my new client acquisition rate was below the target. And I was lamenting that fact. I was talking with my wife, Michelle, about it. I said, honey, I don't know what's going on. My new client acquisition rate. Look at the dashboard because I have it on a dashboard and you ought to create a dashboard as well, an Excel spreadsheet. And I said, look at the dashboard, look at what's going on. And she looked and she said, you know, I noticed you haven't been attending this type of meeting that you had been attending in the past. Do you think that might have an effect on it? I'm like, oh, let me take a look at the time. Let me just take a look at the time I invested in client development over the last quarter as compared to previous quarters. And sure enough, that number was down. And so the bill, the ultimate client creation was down, the income was down, right? It just made total sense. I had lost focus and I had lost track of that. So thanks to Michelle, I got back on, focused again, remembered what I had forgotten, and the trajectory changed, right? So time invested on client development, leading indicator to the billable hour. Utilization rate. Utilization rate means per client, how many billable hours, per matter type, how many billable hours, right? What's the utilization rate? If you get a client and they average, this type of matter averages X billable hours, then you can have a really good idea. Well, if I have this many clients, I should generate this number of billable hours for the month or for the life of the case. You get to decide how to define that. And that's something that I talk with potential clients and clients all the time, frequently, about is, okay, how are we going to chunk this down and actually make it work for you? So utilization rate, case matter type, average billable hours. So when the case comes in the door, I have a really good understanding of what the average billable hour is. No, it's not going to be exact. It's going to be average because we know each and every case is a bit different. Utilization rate is also important. If you're a flat fee lawyer, side note, we're not talking about billable hours for a second, but if you're a flat fee lawyer, how do you set your flat fee? How do you make sure that the fee is appropriate for the matter? Well, that's utilization rate. These types of matter take this amount of time, so I'm going to charge a flat fee of X, right? That's utilization rate. And finally, work in progress. How many active cases do I have? What's the typical utilization rate for those cases? I have a good estimate of what my billable hours are going to be for the month or for the period of time that you define. So the five potential leading indicators, and these are not exhaustive. This is not an exhaustive list. There are a ton out there. I'm happy to talk with you about them if you want to connect with me. Not a problem. But these are 5 examples of leading indicators, and you could see how tracking these would naturally lead to billable hours, client acquisition rate, caseload volume, time invested in client development, utilization rate, average for the case matter type, what's the average billable hour, and then the work in progress. How much work do I have at the beginning of the month to do? Am I going to hit my billable hour target? Those are 5 leading indicators to the billable hour. Okay, let's talk about, in the last 6 or so minutes that we have, let's talk about non-billable hour key performance indicators. These are things beyond the billable hour and beyond what we've talked about already. They're important to the performance of your law practice. Let's talk about lead generation. If there's one thing 90% of attorneys who come to me are concerned about, it's growing their book of business and generating clients, right? That's lead generation in sales parlance. Cost per lead. How much does it cost you to generate a client? It's important. From time invested to the marketing budget, all of that should be tracked and measured and adjusted. Lead conversion rate. How many leads convert to consultations, right? Return on marketing investment. Are you getting the bang for your buck? And this is not just Google pay per click. It costs $2.95 per click, or if you're in certain practice areas, it costs hundreds of dollars per click. That's not that's part of the equation, but that's not it, right? What is the return on marketing investment? How much is going out? How many clients are being generated by that channel? I work with a personal injury lawyer in the mid-Atlantic states. He is really dialed in to his return on marketing investment. He knows which levers he has to adjust when it comes to marketing to create clients. He's got it, right? And not only to create clients, but to make sure that his law firm remains profitable. Because you can dump a whole bunch of money, get a whole bunch more clients, but your profit margin goes down. And then what's the point? Really, what's the point, right? Let's talk about intake volume, right? What is your intake volume? Total number of inquiries, phone ringing, emails, website. What's the total number of inquiries? What's the TNI? Is it up this month? Is it down this month? And when you do that, you then can look at leading indicators for TNI. All of these things can be chunked down into leading indicators as well. Inquiry to consultation conversion rate, ICCR. How many people call and actually come into the office for a consult? Right? What is that percentage? How are you doing there? Did something change? Did you go from free consultations to charged consultations and it affected your number? That's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. It's a thing to be aware of. And then you can think, well, is that decrease in inquiry to consultation conversion, is that acceptable to me? Because now my time is being compensated for, right? You can do that. You can think about those things. Same thing if you went the other way, or you adjusted your consultation rate, or you didn't change anything. Then it's a look at, well, what is our intake process really like? What is that inquiry response time? What is the messaging, right? You can look at all that. And consultation to client conversion rate. How many people come in, sit in your office, and then retain you? What's the conversion rate? It's a key metric, because if you have people that come in and kick the tires and don't hire you, is that an effective and efficient use of your time? What is the messaging in the consultation? Are you asking? Are you clear? Hire us, we can help you, or we can't help you. This is not our area of expertise. We can refer you out, right? You can look at your messaging before that to make sure that the people who come in are ready and willing to hire you, right? So consultation to client conversion rate. These are 6 non-billable hour key performance indicators for you to consider. There are 100 others. And that's not an exaggeration. There are 100 others. The thing is to start, to decide what you're going to track, decide how you're going to track it, and then get busy. That's the key. Every lawyer is an entrepreneur. Act like it. Act like an entrepreneur. Act like a business person. Adopt that CEO mentality. Leveraging key performance indicators, understanding leading versus lagging indicators is a way for you to begin to step into that role. If you want to learn more how coaching with me can empower you to create a law practice driven by metrics and key performance indicators instead of hopes and spaghetti against the wall as a strategy, message me, contact me, go to my website. You can send me a message on LinkedIn. You can go to my website. Again, it's my name with my middle initial R, johnrkormanik.com. You can book a 30-minute discovery session and we can move you forward. It was awesome presenting this information to you. I hope and I believe that you received value today. If you did, let me know. Give me a thumbs up, shoot me an email. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Until next time, take care and be well.